Hey, it's Sunday, August 4th, and quite a bit of activity on site today. I believe we have 8 people right now working. I got Blake sawing away, people hanging the 12-inch wide girts up at the floor level. All those floor beams are in, and we're also putting in the floor joists. Have people working on still backfilling some gravel around the columns. So yeah, it's really shaping up to be something. I guess we have 9 if you include Meg here, who's our mascot for the day. Quite a bit of work being done. Really happy to see so much of the floor coming along. So I'll just walk around and film some of the construction here.
Yeah!
Looks like we might have more rain coming. Sun's out right now, but it's been downpouring, and the sun comes out on and off all day. But either way, great to have some hands on site. And I might, sorry if I have a little bit of fog on the camera. It's been hard to keep it dry, so I don't know how well these shots have turned out. But in any case, back to work. Hey, it's Monday now, and things on site are still progressing really quickly. We've continued on with our floor joists, as you can see there, and that's what I'm working on at the moment. Everyone else is currently out at the hardware store. We're getting more 2x6s that we're using for the floorboards, as well as a couple of other pieces of lumber. You might have seen in the last video, if any of you recognize the face, there's Ben Hewitt, he lives down in Cabot, Vermont, but he's kind of a somewhat local homesteader. He's an author, maintains a blog, which I'll link to here, and yeah, he's just a good source of inspiration. So when we were first looking for land last year, we swung by his place and met with him, just kind of picked his brain about a couple of things and helped him with a project that he was working on around the house. So we reached out to him when we were building. He was kind enough. He brought out the whole family, and they pitched in a couple of hours of work on our barn yesterday, which was really very much appreciated. And man, Ben and his wife Penny, they really incredibly hard workers, and they know what they're doing. So that was great to see them there. I'll put more information below. But in any case, while I'm working on these floor joists, the thing I believe I might have mentioned it, but since the lumber is still a bit green, it's not quite all the way shrunken, so I'm having to trim the ends. So I'm going to go through that process a little bit as I set up for the next one, and just show you what it is that I'm actually doing. The main tool that I'll be using, let me see if I can find it here. Here we go. The main tool that I'm using is a spoke shave, which is basically just this curved blade that you can you draw the knife towards you. So it's very similar to a draw knife that has usually, I believe that's just a flat blade, and it's a little bit wider but I'll be using the spoke shave on these joists to trim up the ends and then fit them in the floor above. Let's see how that goes. What I'm checking for right now is just to see if there's any large knots on either end. A knot in wood is basically just a hole. Many knots will eventually fall out, but even if they don't, structurally, the knot can't carry any load. So I want to make sure that if there's any big knots, especially right in the center of a floor joist, that I put those up. And if there's boards that have a lot of knots on both sides, then it might not make a very good joist. If you have them on the bottom, then that's the side that's going to cause tension. If you have a big hole, that's just basically a crack started in your board. So I go through, this board looks okay. Some of the other boards have quite a bit more wane on the corners and knots on them, but this one actually looks pretty good. So I will just clamp it down, cut it to size, and then go through with the spoke shave next. Once you get a feel for it, you can make pretty quick work of taking off the ends. We've now done, looks like 26 of these joists, so I have 10 more to go, and yeah, this is a great tool to have. Hoist that board up. For a task like this, hanging joists, it's really useful to have some staging. So we have this scaffolding that we borrowed from one of our neighbors, or a neighbor decided to lend to us. It comes in 5-foot segments, so we have 5 foot one at the ground. We could put the scaffolding at 10 feet, but this is a mid-level where it's really helpful to have the floor, because then you can stand and easily reach these joists to place them. Still a little bit tight. I think it should fit. But if it's too tight to go down easily, just hit it with the hammer. That one's seated well. Pretty pleased with the result there. Same thing over on this side. Just notching around, having to do some rip cuts on those boards, but I think it looks really nice.